What is up, guys? It is DMG here, and today we are going to be looking at the gameplay trailer and the pitch notes for FIFA 21, as they are the only news really that we have actually seen for FIFA 21 thus far. Now, two things before we get into this video. One is that even if I say I like something or dislike something about the pitch notes or the gameplay trailer, that does not mean it's going to be good or bad in FIFA 21. We have yet to play the beta, the demo, the actual game a couple weeks or a couple months in, so we can't really say anything until we actually play the game. Second is, again, even if I say I like something or dislike something, the fact that we have a massive amount of information from the pitch notes is a major improvement over the past. So again, well done to everyone who wrote those pitch notes there. Going into this Agile Dribbling, first thing is going to be this Nutmeg. So not a really big fan of that, I'll be honest. I don't like the nutmegs. I don't like the fact that they're trying to showcase that off. It seems like, depending on how EA implements it, it could be incredibly overpowered, could be incredibly useless one way or another, but it's most likely not going to be properly implemented. When you look at FIFA 19 La Croqueta, who was incredibly overpowered and they had to nerf it majorly. So, hopefully we're not looking at a situation like that. Like I said, we're probably going to skip most of the things in this gameplay trailer, but we're going to take a look at this as well. And this is the fact that the AI blocking. Now, this is something that's not good. You can see here multiple blocks over and over and over again. And, I mean, they talked about it for positioning awareness, meaning that the top players are going to hold their runs and not be offside. The top playmakers are going to find space. The defenders, the top defenders, that is, are going to be blocking shots. And that's not really a good thing if the people are not controlling them. Now, you can see in this clip here, something that I'm actually okay with. You can see that the person is controlling the defender here, who then manages to block the shot. If that's the case, I'm okay with it, because, again, they may not be pressing a button to try to block the shot. However, if they are trying to close down the attacker with the ball, trying to close the angle down on the shot, and again, they have a good defender who is big, tall, again, good at defending, who can lunge for those blocked shots, then that's one thing. However, if they are not controlling the player, or if the defender is not directly in front of the person making the shot, then it's going to be really frustrating, because then you'll have these 6'4", 5 defenders making these lunges from 6 yards away and somehow being able to block the shots. Now, gameplay rewind is actually pretty good for the initial part of FIFA 21, in my opinion, because what that's going to allow is for people to kind of figure out what's good in the game, what's not good, maybe change some of their habits from previous FIFAs that they may have picked up. So obviously FIFA 20, your near post shots are going to be overpowered. Hopefully that's not the case in FIFA 21. So people can go into kickoff mode, which is the only place where the rewind is available. So they go into kickoff, they do rewind if they miss a near post shot, so then they can retrain themselves to go far post or to take a touch and do a finesse. So that was all that I wanted to address in the trailer. And again, I know we skipped a lot of it, but we are going to be covering in the pitch notes, since most of it is in the pitch notes itself. So starting off with Agile Dribbling, this is something that's either going to be incredibly overpowered, or it's going to be something that's completely useless. You can see here, you hold R1 or RB on Xbox, then use the left stick to kind of dribble back and forth. So that's going to be people who are incredibly good at dribbling, usually pretty small. You can see here the higher players' dribbling, agility, reactions, ball control, then they're going to be very good. So players who are bigger, who have good dribbling, but aren't necessarily the most agile, they're not going to be good. So usually, again, these are going to be the smaller players. Next is creative runs, and this is something that, if implemented properly and if done well, could be very, very good. So obviously the fact that FIFA 20 is terrible for attacking AI, if you send someone forward with L1, LB, bring someone close with R1, RB, that they just run forward or they just come right next to you. There's no type of swerving runs, there's no diagonal runs, there's nothing like that. So with this, you can make those diagonal runs, you can press L1 and then flick the right stick in any type of direction, and they're going to make a run. Now, in this particular case, it could be also frustrating because, as you guys know, if you are making your own runs with L1, and R1, that it takes a while to actually choose the right player. I know I have trouble with that, whereas I want to send a particular player on a run forward, however it's someone else behind them or someone in front of them or just someone completely entirely different. So hopefully it's more accurate, hopefully that you can actually choose the right player that you want to do. So the directed runs might be a little bit harder, but the directed pass and go could be a little bit easier and something I think more players are able to do. You know exactly who is going to be making the run, right? So in this case, it's someone who had just made the pass. So you can decide where your teammate makes the run after a pass by immediately flicking the right stick. So again, you know who's going to be making that run and you know exactly where they'll be going because obviously you're flicking the right stick in that direction. You don't have to hope and pray that a certain player is going to be making the run that you want. Player lock. This is something that I can really only see not being bad, in my opinion. It could either just be kind of useless or it's going to be bad. And it's mainly because it's kind of like a pro club setup where you and your friends are choosing one particular player and then you have the AI as any. So you yourself are making the run, you're the one controlling it, and the AI is the one making the cross, the pass. So hopefully, you know, the crossing, the passing, the AI itself cannot be overpowered. Otherwise, they're just going to have the AI do everything for them. So this could be something that's not going to be very good. Positioning personality, this is something that is major going to be for FIFA 21. And it's something that hopefully is, you know, the top players can be used. So, you know, someone like Busquets, who's not the fastest, or Cruz, who's not the fastest, hopefully they can be used because they're great playmakers and they're good at defensive awareness, right? Busquets is a great defensive mid. Some really good strikers with good attacking positioning can still be used, someone like that. So hopefully that's the case. Someone with good attacking positioning is going to be staying on, while someone with low is going to be running offside. So there's good things with this, and again, if done properly and if implemented properly, it's very good. However, the downside to this is that there could be a lot more pay to win, right? So someone, you know, there's going to be putting in money constantly so that you can get the top players who can be doing these things. And a lot of them kind of tend to be simple things, right? I'm glad that they're adding it. That's nice. However, some of these things tend to be simple, in my opinion. So open up space, for example, in my opinion, seems to be somewhat simple, even for, you know, just kind of, you know, not top tier footballers, right? So you can see here it's a 2v1 and the attacker here peels off of the defender. And again, I love that they're doing that. I've had so much trouble with that in FIFA 20. I love that they're implementing that. However, I don't really know if that should be reserved for the best of the best. Behaviors that will only happen when a player has a very high positioning attribute, and that's open up space, right? So, I mean, even players like who are 80 overall, 79 overall, right? If it's this simple, you know, they should be doing it. If it's a little bit more congested, that's one thing, but as simple as this, again, hopefully the lower rated players, and I'm not talking about the bronzes, but, you know, the 79s, the 80s, the 81s, hopefully they can be doing this, so then we're not, you know, pulling our hair out in the first few months of FIFA. So now going to the other side of the personality traits, we have the defending. So again, I mentioned it before, someone like Busquets could hopefully be usable because he's not the fastest by any means, but his defending awareness and positioning is top tier. So hopefully that is the case in this situation. Something I want to address here is going to be the fullback cooperation, something that could be, again, good or bad. So I've had a lot of trouble with this in the past, and something that I genuinely you know, wanted to be addressed is that the left and right backs tend to just kind of sit out wide and they don't tend to push in when I really want them to. And you can, again, that's good because they're actually going to be pushing in when they are good enough. I mean, you can see here fullbacks with high defensive awareness are going to be going in to, you know, make this interception or tackle here. However, you can also blame that on the fact that you know, I'm the one that should be initiating that little run inside. I'm the one that should be initiating that tackle. So it can go one of two ways. Hopefully EA have kind of thought about the team of the season time of year, May, June, July, where everyone's going to have these top players, and hopefully this is something that's not going to be incredibly overpowered. You have smoother encounters, which is nice. I mean, again, it's just something that, just being a little bit fine-tuned, because again, you see your FIFA 20 players falling over each other, things like that. FIFA 21, they're not going to be doing that. A small thing that I do want to address on that real quick is that hopefully they still try to go for the ball instead of just trying to not fall over each other, right? So if there is a chance to go for the ball like right here, that they don't just try to avoid each other. So this character right here, this blue character, right, he doesn't try to go for the ball, he just kind of avoids everything. And also, another quick thing, this guy gets the tackle, and the attacking AI still has it. Just, again, small things, man, small things. Next is the fundamentals of football, something that they're trying to rebuild from the ground up, right? We received feedback from the core community around the fundamentals of football. This part actually is something that I really like. It's kind of a small thing. It's not something that's going to be revolutionary to the game, or at least hopefully something that's not completely overpowered with crossing. But this heading part is really nice because it's making headers manual. So obviously, you know, FIFA 20, they said that they made a decision to make heading less effective. That's from FIFA 19 with the El Tornado crosses and the flick up crosses and all that BS, right? So that's why they made FIFA 20 ineffective with headers. But for FIFA 21, they are changing it to manual heading, which is perfect, literally fantastic, because again, it's just going to be more of a skill gap, but they're also still going to make it so it's effective, right? There's that skill gap still in there, and it's manual heading is mandatory in all FUT modes, all pro clubs, FIFA seasons, co-op, online friendlies. So in my opinion, that's, you know, nothing but a win. Hopefully, they could still kind of fine-tune the adjustment for the headers, if it's going to be good, if it's going to be bad, overpowered, whatever. They can adjust that. But in my eyes, this is pretty much nothing but a win. Onto defending, and again, this is something that I've really asked for, is that the shoulder challenges and the seal outs need to be better. And I mentioned that for FIFA 20, 19, 18, and just, you know, throughout, but especially FIFA 20. So shoulder challenges have been reworked to create better contact between players and avoid the defender overshooting their opponent. So in this situation, you can see Thiago Silva bodying Salah. Now in FIFA 20, whenever you would try to do this, at least somewhat consistently, they would just overshoot and go between Salah or the attacker and the ball, and they would just go right through, and the attacker would just Gary the ball and just keep going, right? So they're adjusting this, which is, again, fantastic. It's something that, you know, in my opinion, can only be a win. Now, again, hopefully it's not overpowered, but it's something that's just going to be a win. And again, seal outs are, you know, kind of similar in that they can still just kind of seal out the defender, right? I mean, I don't like saying the same words about what it is, but they can just kind of shield and body the defender so they can actually just get the ball. So again, well done there. Absolutely love that little tweak. Next is passing, and they actually made a lot of things for crossing as well. But one thing I want to add real quick for passing is this pass openness, providing smart passers with the ability to open up the pitch by leading the receiver away from the opponents. This is something that I've had trouble with for the last few FIFAs and FIFA 20 especially. I've had 99 vision, short pass, long pass players where they have all of this space ahead of them for an attacker to run into. And there's just this little defender off to the side. And they put the pass in a spot where the defender can also get it when it doesn't make sense. They could pass in all this space right ahead of them, right where their teammate, their attacking teammate, could run into, and it would go right through on goal. And they, again, decide not to do that. So if this actually works out to be well, where they pass the ball away from the opponents, this is something that would save me so much headache. So absolutely, positively love that as well. Onto crossing, and this is just a couple of things that they're adding. So whip crosses, driven crosses, ground driven crosses. I mean, it's good that they're adding that, just a wider variety of things to do, right? Just because if it gives you a variety of things to do to score, I'm all for that, right? You shouldn't be reserved to just scoring one certain way, like in FIFA 20, doing near post, drag back near post, things like that. So again, it's good they're adding that. And again, the only caveat is hopefully it's not broken and completely overpowered. And again, also hopefully it's not completely useless either. Giving players more control is next, and we talked about this directional nutmeg, so hopefully that's just not good. I do not want to be nutmegged. by someone like Ryan Kent in the 90th minute of Foot Champs. That would be absolutely annoying. So hopefully that's not the case. But besides that, there's a lot of things that are like super cancels and things like that. So cancel foul advantage. If you have advantage and you just want to take the free kick, you can press L2 and R2, LT, RT together, and you have a free kick. There's improved super cancel mechanics. So players to go in for free move in any situation except when dribbling the ball. So you can, cancel shots. You can cancel skill moves. And, it's one thing to kind of implement that because it could be all right? New super cancel, moves. However, in my eyes, it's also just kind of a glorified fake shot in a way. So I guess we just have to kind of see how that plays out. A big thing that they're changing is skill move improvements. So you are able to increase complex skills from 2 to 3 without the ball getting away from you. So you can start to chain a little bit more. You can increase the normal skills from 3 to 6, which is nice. But one thing that they're changing is going to be that every single player in FIFA can do right stick skills, right? All players can outperform right stick skills, but their effectiveness depends on their skill move rating. So obviously a goalie or a 2-star center back is not going to be able to do a Burba spin very well. That makes sense, and I'm all for that. They have this little tidbit here about gameplay responsiveness. So something that, just the fact that they're mentioning it and trying to fix it is nice. There's nothing about just kind of general gameplay responsiveness, which is a little bit of a shame. But, the fact that, sometimes you would do, right stick skills and just literally so fast that they would not be registering. Right stick switching would be impossible sometimes because they literally would not do it, right? So improved multiple cases where no right stick switch would happen. So now they're trying to fix that. Improved L1, LB switches by prioritizing players that are related to the play. So many times where I'd want to switch from my right back or left back to the center back, and it goes to a center mid or a center attacking mid or even a striker sometimes. So that's going to be really nice there. General responsiveness. So animation transition after controlling the ball. Hopefully that means no more emphasis touches where you try to turn and and then right? Hopefully it's just a little bit more controlled and a little bit more quicker now. Obviously, we're going to have to wait for that. Quality of life improvements. This is something that has been a major talking point, and that is that they are removing some of the celebration. So the shush is no longer going to be in FIFA. Now, in my opinion, getting rid of the shush, is one thing or another. I think it's a toxic celebration. However, the main thing that I absolutely love more than them getting rid of shush is the fact that they are lowering the time for set pieces. So you can see here, reduce the waiting time for multiple set pieces. Kickoff is only going to be 10 seconds. Throw-in's only going to be 12. Goal kicks is only 15. So let's say someone scores a goal on you in the 90th minute and they just want to go ahead and be a toxic douchebag, right? That means they can score a goal, not shush. They're removing the walkback cinematic and reducing the length of goal celebrations. So no shush. They can, celebrate, watch the goal, and then that's it, right? There's not going to be any players walking back to the kickoff. There's not going to be any waiting at kickoff for 30 seconds. There's going to be nothing of that. So again, I love the fact that they are not that they're not catering to these toxic people. That the fact that they are lowering this time here, so then I don't get my time wasted. Again, that's the main thing for me. So again, really well done to EA there. And then lastly, we just kind of have some kickoff only things such as FIFA Attributes, right? You have acceleration, increase in sprint speed, positioning, finishing, all that things. Rewind, which we talked about. Again, kickoff only, which is only going to be good in my opinion for the first few weeks, months, when people are trying to learn the game and learn what's good and what's not. So besides that, there's not a whole lot of other things. New celebrations, new goalkeeper antics on penalty kicks, all that stuff. But besides that, we got through everything that I wanted to talk about, which is great. And again, I would say that most of this is good. Again, whether I liked it or not, we're going to have to wait until the game comes out so we can actually properly test it ourselves. But yes, there's a couple of bad things in there, just like the nutmeg, the fact that AI blocking could be back even stronger than before. That could be bad. But there's also a lot of really good things that I liked. So hopefully, again, they implement the good things well, and the things that aren't going to be that good, in my opinion, hopefully they're just kind of useless so that no one uses them. But that is going to be it for me. If you do have any questions or you want to talk about this more, let me know in the comments down below. But like I said, that is going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been DMG. Peace.